You can come, but Lexi's not here, Mom said 3 days before Christmas. I silently put my phone down, canceled their insurance payment, and turned off account sharing. 48 hours later, the family posted a holiday photo, without us, without words, and without financial support. I received a text from my mom 3 days before Christmas. A simple one, no emoji. We need to talk before the 25th. Just us. At that point, I didn't know what they were planning. I thought it was about the traditional argument, who cooks what, who sits where at the table, who doesn't help again. Standard. But when I parked at my parents' house in Colorado Springs and saw that only their car was parked in the garage, I realized the conversation wasn't going to be about stuffing and cranberry sauce. My mom was waiting for me at the table with a cup of tea in a china mug, the same one she always set herself when she was about to politely pass judgment. Dad was silent, staring out the window, hands on his belt. The he disagrees but participates signal. Evelyn, she began carefully, Dad and I have talked it over. A pause. Oh, we decided it was best if Lexi didn't come this year. I didn't immediately realize what I was hearing, not because it sounded unbelievable, but because it sounded like a business decision. It's Christmas, I said. She's your granddaughter. She's a teenager. Mom threw a glance at Dad. And, let's be honest, she's going through a rough patch. This phase of hers. I didn't say anything, because if I said a word, the restraint would be gone. We don't want the holiday party to be tense again. Kids copy behavior. And Lexi has her own ideas. Her own ideas. Like what? I knew the answer. I wanted her to say it out loud. Well, the Instagram post where she called family an emotionally unsafe zone. That's about us, right? I didn't answer that. Because it is. And this new friend of hers. Jess. She's her friend, Mom. She's 16. She has friends. Lexi's gotten, defiant. Aggressive. And you're always defending her. And it's hard. We just don't want to ruin the party. You can come. Of course I can. But without her. That's it. That's it. Like it was about a dog misbehaving at the table. They looked at me. Like accountants deciding an asset had become too toxic for the portfolio. I stood up. Slowly. Thank you for the tea. Mom didn't even make an attempt to stop me. Just nodded. In the car, Lexi texted me, asking when I'd be back. She wanted to show me the t-shirt she ordered for Christmas dinner. It was black and said, "Empathy is punk." I wrote, "Looks great. Let's do pizza tonight." I didn't tell her about the conversation. Not yet. I had to, put everything in order. The next 2 days were weird. The usual things, going to Costco, sending gifts via UPS, music in the car suddenly became background noise. It was as if it wasn't all happening to me, but to someone in the neighborhood. I worked remotely from home, closing reports, sending invoices. On my breaks, I'd look at the tree. And I remembered how 3 years ago I signed my mom up for my Chase account so she could pay anything when she needed to. How Dad called me every January to check in on taxes. How I helped with garage repairs, bought them a new MacBook, paid for their medications. No strings attached. Just because family. Now I'm unwanted. My daughter is unwanted. I'm conditionally acceptable. Do I agree to these conditions? They didn't ask. Christmas came quietly. Lexi and I ate pizza from a box and watched an old black and white movie. She didn't ask why we were home. She must have sensed something. I was expecting a call. A message. That someone would change their mind. Nothing came. Just a family photo on Facebook with the caption, "So blessed to be together again for Christmas. Family first." They posted this on December 25th at 6:43 p.m. In the photo, my parents, my brother and his wife, their kids, even the dog in a sweater. I'm not. No mention at all. It's like we just don't exist. The next morning, I froze access to the joint account at Chase. Remotely. No notifications. I removed them from the Verizon family plan. Changed my passwords to Amazon and Netflix. Didn't write anything. No explanation. Just stopped being part of their system. I began to reevaluate my role in this family. Not dramatically, analytically. When Mom asked me to drive her to the pharmacy, I drove. When Dad called with a question about the DMV or the title on their Ford, I dealt with it. When my brother complained that he couldn't keep up with the mortgage, I covered the missing payments through Zelle. They didn't discuss it. They just got used to it. Convenient. One call and it was done. I remember transferring $4,000 to my mom 2 years ago to replace a water heater. She said afterward that, "It's good to have you, you're in over your head." Felt good then. Now I don't. I wasn't getting appreciation. Only new challenges. I checked my Bank of America statement for the last 6 months. The amount I transferred to relatives was $12,870. Gifts, insurance, tickets, groceries. It's all kind of small stuff. But the little things add up to a pattern. It wasn't just one incident. It was a pattern. On the 24th night, I got a text from my brother. "Don't forget to bring the pumpkin pie you made last year. The kids are waiting." He didn't ask if I was coming. Didn't mention Lexi. Just expected it. I didn't respond. The next day he texted again. "We've already sliced the turkey. Where are you?" I deleted the message. At some point I realized if I sent the money no one would mind Lexi. She wasn't the problem. The problem was that I was no longer signing up for their script. Lexi asked, "Mom, do you ever feel redundant?" I looked at her. "Yes. A lot of the time." She nodded. No comment. She already understood more than I did at her age. We watched the children sledding outside the window. One of the neighbors waved at us. We waved back. No drama. No scene. Just a day where I stopped being comfortable. And a whole different life began. On the evening of the 26th, I logged into my Experian account. Blocked access to my credit report. Then I logged into TransUnion. Did the same thing again. Just in case. So no one would get the idea. I checked to see who the insurance policies were for. I deleted them as authorized users. I moved the auto payments from my shared account to my personal account. Closed access to shared Google Drive with medical records. It wasn't an impulse. It was an order. My mom called 3 times. I didn't pick up. Then the letter came. "We didn't mean for things to go this far. You don't have to react this way. We're still your parents." I didn't respond, because that was my reaction. We celebrated New Year's Eve at home. Lexi pulled garlands from the pantry, glued paper snowflakes to the ceiling. We ate tacos. We drank sodas out of glasses. No toast. No speech. I just said, "Next year will be different." She nodded. Good. I woke up on December 27th feeling like it was Monday, even though it was Wednesday. No calls, no emails. It was as if everything had been put on pause. Before lunch, I received 3 messages from my mom. One with a picture of a snowy yard, one with a casserole recipe, and one with no text, just a heart emoji. I didn't respond to any of them. Instead, I checked the autopay for my parents' insurance, the same one that was still debiting my Bank of America. I turned it off. There too a reminder to pay for their Verizon family plan. Closed the line. Filed a request to separate the accounts. I wasn't mad. I was just cleaning up the system. The one where I was designated as a resource. Lexi was sitting in her room, drawing on the mirror with a marker. She said, "I don't think I want to go there anymore. Not for Christmas. Not for Easter. Not ever." I replied, "I heard you." After that, the wave started. A real one. First my brother. "Listen, I've been thinking. You don't want to come down here and talk? No hard feelings. No tension. Mom's worried. She's not getting any younger." I asked, "Do you agree that my daughter was asked not to come?" He was silent for 2 seconds. Then he said, "Well, maybe not so harsh. But you know Lexi can be harsh. And Mom and Dad are old. It's hard on them. We have to be flexible. Find a compromise." I turned off the speakerphone and I said into the microphone, "I'm not part of this discussion." I dropped the call. Blocked the number. Not because he said something awful, but because it wasn't the first time. It wouldn't be the last. 2 days later a letter arrived. Real paper USPS. Inside was a card with a Christmas angel and the words, "We love you, but we're worried about your choices." Signed Mom and Dad. I left it on the table. Then I threw it out with the milk cartons. On December 31st, I checked my credit report. New authorization request from TransUnion. Someone was trying to access my data. I froze the report on all 3 platforms. Experian, Equifax. TransUnion. I put two-factor protection on all logins. Disabled automatic bank app synchronization. I didn't accuse. I didn't ask. I just shut everything down. In early January, my mom texted again. Already unadorned. We need $1,500 to replace the furnace. The old unit is almost burnt out. We'd asked Dave, but he has 3 kids. We hope you'll understand. This isn't a whim. It's health. I read the message and felt nothing. I didn't ask any questions. Just opened Chase and canceled access to all linked cards. Later sent them a short reply. I am no longer your source. Lexi asked, "Did you ever love your grandmother?" I said, "I tried. We were sitting in Starbucks. She ordered a hot chocolate, I ordered a regular coffee. Through the window I could see the neighbor pulling an Amazon box down the driveway. Do you think they'll understand that?" Lexi asked. "No," I said. "But I don't need them to understand anymore. This is the climax. Everything you've been waiting for is right here. Subscribe now to see the hero put everyone in their place." A couple days later, I got a notification from a notary service. Someone was requesting power of attorney on my behalf. Online. Quick turnaround. Same last name. Address is theirs. I went to the log and saw. The draft form was started with an IP that matched their Wi-Fi. I took screenshots. Deleted the draft. Called support directly. Left a request to monitor all future attempts. Later, an email from my dad. "You're overreacting. It's just a misunderstanding. We thought you wouldn't mind." They did. I removed them from all the places they were still written in. Auto, health insurance, emergency contact at the clinic. Canceled their access to the shared calendar. Even remote access to the Nest thermostat. Brother texted again. "You want to ruin everything, don't you? You want our kids to never know who you are again? You think being hurt is an adult choice?" I didn't answer. I just wrote a check to my niece for $100 for her birthday and sent it by regular mail. No signature. No card. Just to let them know I didn't disappear. I just walked out. Lexi found a box of Christmas toys in the pantry. What should I do with them? Pack them up and take them to the garage. Forever? Until next year. We'll see if we need it. We had a general Zoom at work. Summarizing the year. The manager thanked everyone who pulled the damn year off on their own. Then added, especially Evelyn. Without her, logistics would have collapsed. Everyone clapped. I turned off the microphone. Just nodded. I didn't need recognition. I needed silence. My mom sent another letter. It was handwritten. "You ruined Christmas. You broke Daddy's heart. You didn't let your grandchildren feel love." I didn't read all the way through. Burned the letter in the fireplace. Friday night I sat on the veranda. Hot tea. An old blanket. Silence. Lexi came out, sat next to me. "You're not sad?" "No. I'm calm." We were silent for about 10 minutes. Then she said, "I'm glad you chose me. I chose you a long time ago. It's just that this is the first time." And in that second I knew that everything I had lost was no longer mine. The next week, the heat went out at my parents' house. My mom posted in the family chat room. "Neighbors gave us a heater. We sleep in the same room like in the 80s. Romance. Only without you." No one liked the post. No one commented. Not even her son. I went to the DMV and deleted the parents' address from my driver's profile. It was still listed as a secondary address. Old habit. In the same account, a strange notification. Someone was trying to request a copy of my ID. I processed the lockout via identity verification hold. An email from my dad. "You abandoned us." For what? For being right. I didn't answer. A neighbor brought a box of tangerines with a note. "You and your daughter are so quiet. I hope you're okay." I said thank you. We ate the tangerines in the evening. Lexi said, "This has been the best December ever." Without the falseness. I went back into the Chase reports. Transfers, subscriptions, expenses. I cleaned it all up. I set up a separate account just for me and Lexi. I named it Home. Not for parents. Not family. For us. Family wrote a couple more times. Silently. Through pictures, hints, empty phrases. I didn't respond. Because the story is over. Because this time I chose silence. I didn't plan on talking to them again. There was no need. Everything that could be said had already been said. The rest was silence. But in March my mom called again. The number was new. I recognized the voice immediately. Evelyn, please pick up. I pressed reset. A minute later a message came through. We're falling apart. We're not doing well. We need you to come back. I didn't respond to anything. I just put my phone on silent and went outside. The snow had almost melted. All that was left were gray streaks along the curb and water in the storm drains. It was quiet. Quiet. And rightly so. I was on my way to the store to get milk. And suddenly I realized this was my new life. It didn't start with a scream. It started with me not answering. In mid-March I got a letter from Wells Fargo. My father had attempted to apply for a secured loan. In the contact to confirm field was my name, my old email, a phone I hadn't used in a long time. At first I wanted to ignore it. Then I thought if I kept quiet, they'd take it as consent. I called the bank, confirmed that I had nothing to do with the application. I asked them to record the refusal and to revoke all the powers of attorney where I could be mentioned. The employee clarified, "Do you want to file a complaint?" I replied, "No, I'm just not involved." A couple days later my brother texted again. Now a voicemail message. "Are you really going to leave everything? Everything we've built together? You've always been there for us. Why ruin it?" I didn't listen to the rest of it. I deleted it. I wasn't destroying. I was getting out. Lexi took the mock exams. She prepared herself. She said, "It's easier to breathe without pressure." I nodded. All I was doing was creating a space where she didn't have to fight for the right to be herself. I met my dad by accident. At the grocery store. He was standing by a rack of frozen fish. He looked at me. "You look tired." I replied, "I'm calm." He spread his hands. "Well then, you got what you wanted." Everything fell apart. I walked away. He didn't follow me. It wasn't about winning. It was about the end. In April, an invitation came for a family dinner. Not from my parents, from my brother's wife. Formal. Polite. As if nothing had happened. Just food. Just kids. No drama. "We miss you." I didn't respond. A day later, a follow-up. "Well, at least think about it." Parents won't. It's just a way to get a fresh start. I wonder how many more times they'll try to pass off a restart as a rescue. Mom sent a card for Lexi's birthday. Inside is a $25 bill. And a note. "For something beautiful. You always stay yourself. Even if Mom thinks it's dangerous." It was a passive shot. Wrapped in a bow. I put the card away. I put the money in Lexi's piggy bank. Not because I accepted it. Because I decided I was in control of what went into our house. Lexi and I redecorated the apartment. We took down family photos. We put away the postcards. Then she asked me, "Aren't you afraid they'll disappear?" "They're already gone. I'm just admitting it." I started a separate folder with documents. Powers of attorney, financial ties, old email addresses. I called it closed. Every day is one step. One trail deleted. One file closed. It's not revenge. It's order. Lexi brought me a list of colleges. No pressure. I just want you to look at it. I did. There weren't any near my home state. I asked, "Are you ready to leave?" She nodded. "I'm not afraid. We had a history of survival. We both knew she could do it if she had to. If I had to, so could I." The silence from my parents lasted almost 6 weeks. No letters. No phone calls. No texts. Then a short letter from my mom. "You win. I hope you don't get lonely." I didn't win. I just stopped losing. In early May, I got a notice from my email service. Someone was trying to change my forwarding address. My parents' old address. The new application was in my name. I wasn't surprised. I went to USPS, put a block on the changes, checked addresses through credit freeze, checked all the accounts for external access. Nothing new. I said nothing again. No calls. No emails. Just action. That evening, I sat with Lexi in the kitchen. We put papers in her folder. Preparing college applications. On the cover, Fall 2026. She looked at the list, then at me. "Mom, you don't regret it?" "No. It was the right choice." I just put it off for a long time. She didn't ask about who, what. She already knew. The last text came in mid-May. From my mom. It was short. We're going away for a while. If you change your mind, text me. I didn't text. I turned off my phone and walked with Lexi to the park. It was quiet. People were feeding the ducks. Smelled like spring. I looked at her. She was there. Calm. Real. I'm no longer part of their game. Not a participant, not a buffer, not a bridge. I'm separate. The last thing I did was close the joint account at Wells Fargo. I transferred the balance to my personal account. The name of the account is Restart. In June, I got a report from Equifax. One of the old accounts was still listed as Family Access. I submitted a request for deletion. Same place. I closed an old line of credit I had set up with my brother 12 years ago. It was just in case. Now it's an obvious mistake. I looked at my list of active accounts. I kept 2. I cleaned out the rest. Lexi and I went to the ocean. For 2 days. No plan. She took one backpack. I took a thermos and a laptop. In the car we listened to music, didn't talk about anything. We just drove. For the first time in a long time I felt in control. Not perfect. Not easy. But it was mine. When we got back there was a letter in the mailbox. No return address. Inside was a photo. An old one. Of all of us together. Me, Lexi, my parents, my brother. Signed. It can still be taken back. I didn't smile. I didn't remember. I just put the photo in the drawer. Closed it. Lexi said. It was like the end of a book. I replied. It was like starting a new one. And with that thought I didn't add anything else. No letters. No phone calls. No explanations. Because the story was complete. And no longer mine. For the first time in years I didn't check to see what would happen next. I just lived. Every day. No signal, no alarm, no duty. It was enough.